This is day 1 of Advent Cyber 2024, and this challenge is called Help Me, I'm Reverse Engineering. McSkitty's alert dashboard lit up with an unusual alert. A file sharing website application built by Glitch had triggered a security event. Glitch had been working hard during the season's SOC miss after the last scare with the Yule log exploit, but this new alert caused McSkitty to question his intentions. McSkitty began to investigate. It seemed the source of the alert came from a binary file that made its way to the web app's backend. It did not belong there and had some anomalous activity. The binary was compiled with .NET. This whole setup seemed quite unusual, and with the Glitch working on the latest security updates, McSkitty was filled with suspicion. As McSkitty continued her investigation, Glitch rushed into the room. "I swear I did not put that there. I was testing defenses, but I wouldn't go that far." McSkitty reassured him. "This doesn't look like your work. Let's get to the bottom of this. Put on your decompiling hat, and let's see what we are dealing with." So with this challenge we are understanding the structure of a binary file, the difference between disassembly versus decompiling, familiarity with multi-stage binaries, and practically reversing a multi-stage binary. So for this challenge, we start the virtual machine, and then we start the attack box. Introduction to reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is a process of breaking something down to understand its function. In cybersecurity, reverse engineering is used to analyze how applications, binaries, function. This can be used to determine whether or not the application is malicious, or if there are any security bugs present. For example, cybersecurity analysts reverse engineer malicious applications distributed by attackers to understand if there are any attributable indicators to associate the binary with an attacker and potential ways to defend against a malicious binary. A famous example of this is the WannaCry ransomware in May 2017. Security researcher Marcus Hutchins reverse engineered the ransomware application and discovered a specific function within the application where the malware wouldn't run if a particular domain were registered and available. Marcus then registered the domain, stopping the global WannaCry attack. This is just one of many famous cases of reverse engineering being used in cybersecurity defense. In computing, binaries are files compiled from source code. For example, you run a binary when launching an executable file on your computer. At one point in time, this application would have been programmed in a programming language such as C#. It is then compiled, and the compiler translates the code into machine instructions. Binaries have a specific structure depending on the operating system they are designed to run. For example, Windows binaries follow the portable executable structure, whereas on Linux binaries follow the executable and linkable format. This is why, for example, you cannot run an exe file on macOS. With that said, all binary files will contain at least a code section. This section contains the instructions that the CPU will execute. Data section contains information such as variables, resources, images, other data, etc. And import-export table. These tables reference additional libraries used, imported, or exported by the binaries. The binaries often rely on libraries to perform functions, for example, interacting with the Windows API to manipulate files. The binaries in today's task follow the PE structure. This structure will be explained throughout the task. Disassembly versus decompiling. When reverse engineering binaries, you'll employ two primary techniques. This task will introduce you to disassembly and decompiling, explaining the key differences and their pros and cons. Disassembling a binary shows the low-level machine instructions the binary will perform. You may know this as assembly. Because the output is translated machine instructions, you can see a detailed view of how the binary will interact with the system at what stage. Tools such as IDA, Ghidra, and GDB can do this. Decompiling, however, converts the binary into its higher level code, such as C++ or C#, making it easier to read. However, this translation can often lose information, such as variable names. This method of reverse engineering a binary is useful if you want to get a higher level understanding of the application's flow. There are specific circumstances where you would choose one method over the other. For example, decompiling is sometimes a best guess based on the tooling you've used, and does not provide the actual full source code. A table outlining the key differences between the three has been provided below. So readability, disassembly requires assembly and low-level knowledge of computing concepts, while decompiling just requires familiarity with programming logic. Level of output. Disassembly translated output is the exact instructions that the machine will perform. Decompiling is making a best guess. The output may not be accurate, and useful information such as variables, function names, etc. will be lost. Difficulty. Difficulty can be considered higher as the machine instructions are translated in assembly, while decompiling the machine instructions are translated into a high-level language, which makes them easier to understand if you are familiar with the language the binary is written in. And usefulness. Disassembly, the entire behavior of the binary can be studied given enough time, and decompiling is a quick way to understand some of the logic of the binary. Multi-stage binaries. Recent trends in cybersecurity have seen the rise of attackers using what's known as multi-stage binaries in their campaigns. especially malware. These attacks involve using multiple binaries responsible for different actions rather than one performing the entire stack. Usually, an attack involving various binaries will look like the following. Stage 1 is the dropper. The binary is usually a lightweight, basic binary responsible for actions such as enumerating the operating system to see if the payload will work. Once certain conditions are verified, the binary will download the second, much more malicious binary from the attacker's infrastructure. And stage 2 is the payload. The binary is the meat and bones of the attack. For example, in the event of ransomware, the payload will encrypt and exfiltrate the data. Sophisticated attackers may further split actions of the attack chain, lateral movement into additional binaries. Using multiple stages helps evade detection and makes the analyst process more difficult. For example, a small, more harmless initial binary is likelier to evade detection via email filtering than a full-fledged binary that performs malicious actions such as encryption. Additionally, splitting these functions into multiple stages gives the attacker more control, only downloading specific stages once conditions such as the time have been met. The diagram below shows what an attack involving multiple stage binaries may look like. So the entry point may come from phishing mail or compromised site. Got the initial dropper, which may be any type of document. There's the downloader, which is code which runs, goes to a website and downloads the payload. And then the payload is executed, which is the malware. So for today, we will be reverse engineering two binaries using the decompiler ILSpy. You can follow the walkthrough below in reverse engineering such an application named demo.exe. Then you will reverse an application on your own at the end of the task. So before analyzing our target, we need to learn and find a way to identify the original binary file, modify it or use it as evidence. Also, it is good practice to have a big picture of the file we are dealing with so that we can choose the proper tools we will need. So I'm assuming we need to RDP into the machine. Oh wait, there's the virtual machine here at the bottom. Okay, so we don't need to RDP, we've got it already there. Okay, so had to restart the virtual machine as it wasn't loading, but we've now got it here. So we've got this demo folder, and it wants us to right click, go properties to verify that it is an application, which we can see here it is. And since it is an application, we will open PE Studio. We'll maximize that. Then we'll open that executable, going file, open file, then going to desktop, demo, and the demo executable. As shown below, PE Studio will display information about the file. So let's start enumerating some of the most important aspects we can get from it. Using the left panel, we can navigate through different sections that will share different types of information about the file. And in the general section, we can see the file in the form of SHA-256, the architecture type, which is 64-bit, file type and signature of the language used to compile the executable, which in this case is .NET Framework that uses C#. So let's focus on some critical data we can obtain. First, if you want to identify the file and provide evidence of its alteration, we need to take note of the file's SHA-256 hash, as we mentioned above, as well as the hash of each section of the PE file. PE stands for Portable Executable, and it's the format in which Windows executables are arranged. The sections represent a memory space with different content of the Windows executable within the PE format. We can calculate the hash of these sections in order to identify the executable properly. We'll focus this time on two hashes. The one from the .txt, the .text section, which is the section of the file containing the executable code, and this section is often marked as a read and executable, so it should not have any alterations when the file has been copied. So if we go footprints, there's the file in different hash types, in the section .text MD5 right there. Another essential section we use to obtain the information about the binary is the indicator section. This section tells us about the potential indicators like URLs or other suspicious attributes of the binary. So indicators right here. There is a URL which points to this address. The screenshot above shows several strings on the file, like file names, URLs, and function names. This can be very important depending on the file's execution flow. Additionally, looking for artifacts such as IP addresses, URLs, and crypto wallets can be a quick win for gathering some identifying intelligence. So now that we have information about the file we're investigating, let's try to understand what the executable is doing. We need to understand its flow. If we try to read the file by opening it, we cannot do it since it's a binary format. In the previous section, we learned about the file is compiled using .NET and C#. We can decompile it using ILSpy. So if we open up ILSpy, we can then open up our executable file in here. So file, open, desktop, demo. So we've got the application open up here. So if we go demo, then namespace demo binary program and main string, which is the main application. We can see prints hello thm demo binary, then there's a thread sleep. It creates the variable for the IP address of the URL we're going to creates the path for the folder that it will be saving the file to, then uses the web client to download the file, and if it's successful, then starts a process for that text file. It uses shell, it opens the image, and then it exits. So we now understand what the binary is doing. It will download a PNG file to the user's desktop from the URL. So let's execute the file and see if this is true. Once the binary starts, wait for the hello THM demo binary to appear, then press enter to download the file. So we need to go to the desktop and go demo. So hello THM binary, then we press enter, and it has downloaded the file. So if we exit from that, we can see that we've got the file opened up in Paint, which it automatically did. So after executing the file, we can observe that it was downloaded to the desktop, and the message print to the screen as expected. Also, the downloaded file is executed and opened using the default app for PNG Paint. Excellent, we successfully reverse engineered the flow of the code. Now that we have some practice, join McSkitty and help investigate the alerts coming from the file wervelapp.exe. Put on your reverse engineering hat and help decipher the mystery behind the suspicious binary. So I guess let's just get started with that. So we will go to P Studio first. We will open, might need to exit this and then open a new instance. So we've got this open, go file, open file, then on the desktop, Wervel app, and let's see what is the function name that downloads and executes files in the Wervel app exe. So based on that question, it makes more sense to go into here and open the application in here. So we will go back to the desktop and do that. So close up the demo, and we will open up Wervel app. I assume it's fancy app, and program main void. It seems like it. So first starts by opening up the form. So we'll go to here and select form 1. Okay, that's an initialized component. Maybe we need login form is what we should be going to. Let's take a look at the other form 1 load. That's more like it. So if not Windows, message box to show this application is only compatible Windows. Otherwise, timer 1 start. So what are you doing, timer? So I got the timer. So timer stop hide, and then download and execute file. So that would be that. Download and execute file. That's the name of the function. So once you execute the Wervel app, it downloads another binary to the downloads folder. What is the name of the binary? So what we need is to find where this function is, and the name of it is explorer.exe. What domain name is the one from where the file is downloaded? We saw there was mayorc.thm, mayorc2.thm. The stage 2 binary is executed automatically and creates a zip file comparing the victim's computer to data. What is the name of the zip? So I think it wants us to actually execute it. So we'll go desktop, we'll execute this, and okay, so it's bringing all this up. Brought up this explorer.exe, although did it say where I was going to save the file to? I thought it would. Okay, we saved it to downloads. So if we go downloads, okay, we've got this here. So in the ILSpy, we'll go file, open, and we will go downloads explorer.exe. We will close off the Wervel app one and open up Explorer and file collector, program, and main, I assume. Okay. So the stage 2 binary is executed automatically and creates a zip file compromising the victim's computer data. What is the name of the zip file? So, collected files.zip. And what is the name of the C2 server it's trying to upload to? So we should be seeing maybe web client stuff here somewhere. We've got this function right here, upload file to server, and anonymous c2.thm. Anonymous c2.thm. Cool. And that is all the questions answered. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe.